Hello again, everybody. In this video, I want to show you how to install a Gaia firewall using, installing Gaia firewall in a virtual machine. I do it in VirtualBox. I know you can do it too in using VMware software. And but in this case, I like to use VirtualBox because you can add a virtual machine to a GNS3 lab, and you can if you are working with in a certification, or you are just trying to learn something about Gaia firewalls, or maybe testing a new version of Gaia, or whatever reason, you can create a new lab and start working with it easily. Okay, so in this lab, I have an internal network, and I have an internet connection, and I want to add a gateway here, a Gaia firewall here, to provide security to my network, right? But since we need to create first the virtual machine, and we need to install first the virtual machine and then add them to GNS3, in this video I'm not going to work with the lab yet. Okay, I will add the firewall in another video to show you how to run the first installation wizard, and then in another video how to set up basic stuff on Checkpoint Gaia firewalls. Okay, but in this case I'm not going to show you how to add the machine yet on GNS3. Okay, so one important thing to mention before doing anything here is that you will need to have two important files for the installation. One of them is of course the installation ISO file, and the other one is the smart console software that will let you work, it will let you manage the Gaia firewall. Okay, and in this case you can find these two files. These two files, you can find them on the Checkpoint support webpage. And if you will download the software, just make sure you are downloading a smart console version that is exactly the same version of the Gaia firewall that you have, or newer. If you, for example, this one is 77.10, if I try to manage this firewall with this smart console.x file, with this smart console software, I will be asked to update my software. Okay, so you'll need the same version or newer on the smart console. Okay, so in VirtualBox, that is the one the software I use to manage my virtual machines. I will create a new virtual machine. Okay, and I will name it Gaia 77.20. This will be a Linux box, a Red Hat 64 bits. Okay, this is the initial setup, and I will assign 2 gigabits of RAM. Okay, I have plenty of RAM here, so you can assign more or less depending on your system, but I normally use 2 gigabits and runs pretty well. And I will create a new hard drive, of course, and it will be BDI type, and of course will be dynamically allocated. I have seen many people saying that it works perfectly with 2 gigabits of hard disk of space, right? But honestly, I always install a default that is 8. I don't worry a lot about that because it is dynamically allocated. So even if you use 100 gigabits, you will not have any impact of your physical drive, because you will not be using right. It will be increasing automatically, but it will be a maximum of 8 gigabits. So I will create the machine with this setup. You can see in here, in the settings, on the settings bottom, there is something very important that you need to know, and is in the interfaces, right? As you can see, when you create a virtual machine, depending on your defaults, you will have just one interface. Okay. Um, in this case, I just have one, but I will enable additional interfaces. You can do this right now before the installation, or you can do it later. I mean, when you will add the virtual machine to your GNS3 lab, you can come to the virtual box and you can enable additional interfaces. Okay, this is not just to add them and click on enable network adapter and click OK. Of course, you will need to do an additional setup via the web user interface, but you can do this anytime. Okay, and okay, I will start a machine. I added the 4 interfaces. Let me move this here. Here I'll need to select the startup disk because it's the first time I am running the machine. So let me try to move it. Okay, I need to set up. Oh, let me try to move the okay. As you can see, I selected the install Gaia.iso file. Okay, and just look, that is the same one that I had before, right? This is the ISO file that I'm using. Okay, so just make sure you select the correct one, 77.20. Okay, and start a machine. Okay, start a machine. Okay. Okay, so if you are running Gaia 77.20, you will see this exactly screen. Okay, it will change depending of the version that you are running, of course. Okay, so I will select install Gaia on this system, and since it's the first installation, you will have to set up specific parameters like keyboard language, like the management IP address, like the password for management, and then the installation will start. Okay, the installation will I mean, you will take like it will really depend of your system. It might take 10 minutes or a little more or less, depending of your physical computer, right, or physical machine. Okay, of course, as you could see before, I'm running this using Linux, but I mean, you can use VirtualBox in Windows as well, and you can use GNS3 on Windows as well, and you should have no issues with that. Okay, it really depends on the flavor you want to use. Okay. Okay. So let's wait for the system to start. Okay, do you wish to proceed with the installation? Of course, I will click OK. I will select my keyboard in English, and I will set up the password and confirm it. Okay. Of course, remember which is the password, right? What is the password that you set up, because you will need this for management, right? Okay, click OK, and okay, here as you can see, I am being asked for the management interface I want. Okay, this is very important to mention, because if you did not add additional interfaces, you will not see this screen. Okay, you will just be you will automatically configure the ERNet 0 like your management interface. In this case, I have to select which one I want to use. Okay, look that the RN0 is marked in yellow. Okay, so that is the one I want to use. Okay, and I will click OK. Okay, so look at look at this. The RN0 is specified on the as the management interface. Okay, so here also it is really important that you select an IP address that it will be reachable in your lab, of course, or in your computer, in the case that you will be managing the device directly from your computer just for testing, right? But if you want to use the virtual machine on GNS3, you will need to set up an IP that will be reachable via your lab, right? Using your lab, okay? So I will use 10.10.10.101. Okay, that I know this is something that I always use this IP for labs, this IP addressing for labs, this network. So I need to set up something that will be useful, that it will be reachable. Okay. Okay, so now are you sure you want to continue? I will click OK, and now the installation is in process. Okay, as I told you before, it will take some time, depending of your system. Normally it should not take more than 5 minutes. Okay, but I don't know, it depends of your computer specs. So you just have to be patient, and if everything goes fine, the process should go very quickly. Okay, so just to mention something while the installation is in process. Um, with Gaia, while installing Gaia, is not just like Cisco that you look for the file for the iOS software. You configure GNS3 quickly, and you start working with it. Okay, with Gaia, you will need to do this first. You will need to set up the virtual machine on your virtual box. Then, as any other virtual machine, you will need to add the virtual machine to your GNS3, just like any other Windows or Linux or whatever virtual machine you add on to GNS3. Okay, and after that you will need to you will need to access the Gaia firewall using the Smart Console software. Okay, that is the one that I show you initially. Okay, so you can see that these are .x files. I haven't seen any version for Linux, honestly. Okay, but this is just because I have my Windows virtual machine, and I have always used this with Windows. I don't know if there is a Linux version. Okay, but you will need to install this on your Windows machine, and you will need it to access your Gaia firewall to configure policies, access control list on Cisco and NATs. Okay, any configuration you will have to use the Smart Console software. Okay, uh, after this is done, you will need to set up the wizard. Okay, the first installation wizard. Okay, and that is done using the web interface, the web user interface. That is not the same that Smart Console. So you will have to access Gaia through two different methods, right? Well, actually three: via CLI, via the web user interface that is simpler than the CLI, of course, and the Smart Console. Okay, so you will need to have these three different accesses. It might be complicated to understand at the beginning, but after you see the videos, you will find it pretty easy to understand. Okay, so we are in 65% right now. Copying files. Let's wait a little more. Okay, post installation configuration. When everything is done, you will see a reboot prompt. Okay, I told you. Okay, so the installation is complete. So to complete the first time configuration of the system, log in from the console or connect using a browser to HTTPS. Okay. Okay. I'm just doing the reboot now. You will see that I will be prompted for a username and password via the CLI. You can just do this I'm doing right now for testing, but you could stop the machine right now here and add it to the GNS3 lab. But I always do this just to see that everything is installed fine. Remember that the username for administration is admin. It is not root. Okay, it is admin. And you will need the password, right? That's why I told you that keep the password in mind. Okay, so if everything is fine, I should receive the username and password prompt. Let's wait a second. Okay, after a while of starting the system with the starting system message, I have the login prompt. This is for authorized use only, and remember the username is admin, and this is the password that we configured previously. So, in order to configure your system, please access the web UI with the web user interface and finish the first time wizard. Okay, so at this point I can't do anything else. Well, actually, I think I can even use well, show interface editor 0. This is the just basic commands that you can run from here, but you need to access the web user interface to complete the installation. So at this time we all set. I'm going to show you another video how to run the wizard and how to add a machine to your GNS3 labs. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, guys.